Good, well, happy midday, I'll call it, to each of you. Again, I am working on consistency. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Thanks to you all, I see that many of you are at least viewing these videos of me telling my story. I really pray that you stop and listen. So I'm trying to keep them short because I really do want you to listen. It's important that you know what this is really all about. And so by now, again, it's my telling my story because it's a part of what we're doing in terms of Sharon Y. Harley Ministries Reboot. There's a portion that's called Telling Your Story, where I video others and bring their stories to you. But it makes sense that you know my story first. So again, I have written these books. The first one is Stay in the Race. Not Stay in the Race, Redeemed, Restored, Recommissioned. My testimony of redemption. This is the revised version. You want the revised version. When you want the one that looks like this, amen, that says the revised version, amen. And so right there down at the bottom, that's the one that you want. And there's a workbook that goes with it. And then the second book, Stay in the Race, Life is a Journey. Why? Because it's all of these crazy things that we go through in life that make up who we are. We hear a lot about your environment being a part of who you are. Amen. It's not just what happens directly in your home, what's in your DNA, but what's happening in your environment, what's going on that makes up the individual, the passions, the things that will just kind of naturally happen due to your environment. And so, again, I'm sharing how I stayed in the race, what allowed me to be able to make it through all of the different things that I've gone through. And that you will get here in this book here. And it does have, as with all of my books, areas where after you've read, you can, or while you're reading, you can actually take notes. So I would behoove you, please, at some point to go on Amazon and you can purchase these books, or you can write to me at SYH Ministries, SYH Ministries 2020 at AOL.com and request these books, and I'll tell you how to pay. And again, for anyone that tells me that you heard my video and so you're requesting all 3 books, I'll give them to you for $30. That's a savings of over $35, almost $50. So please do purchase the books, because as I continue to move through my story, it's going to help you with a whole lot more of understanding what I'm talking about. So I thought today what I would bring before you, because this is, I hate to say anniversary date, but the time frame in which I had my first shoulder surgery on my arm, whereby I had after having a case in the court regarding my home where somebody was saying that I was a squatter, I won that case. And because I had been in communication with the FBI regarding the people, some of the people that were behind this, and they had told me I would be vindicated, it was my hope that when I got called by the bailiff, that somebody wanted to see me. I'm thinking in my mind that this must be the FBI that wants to see me and tell me what to do next, because surely I have not done anything wrong. Nah, that wasn't the case. So here we are today. I go in that room and I am beat up by these many different policemen of different jurisdictions. It was really interesting, but I remember just being tossed back and forth, them grabbing my arm, swinging me, and that's what ultimately caused my rotator cuff to be completely torn. Over 4-hour surgery to repair my rotator cuff, and then because of what you need to do even after something of this magnitude, I had to have a secondary surgery in 2020 to kind of clean up around it. As some of you have heard, I have to have now a 3rd surgery because the tear was so jagged that it lasted longer than the doctors may have even thought. But now the tear has begun to re-tear, and I have to have another surgery. And so all of this has been going on. It starts off in 1999. Here it is in 2023. I was in my home for up until 2011 after a second illegal and wrongful eviction. And so again, as I've shared with you, I want to give you the evidence because I think it's the evidence. People may say, how can you not be in your home if you own it? So I want to show you documentation today that you can only get via the courthouse, okay? And I've shared it with you before, but this piece of paper here that I'm going to show you right here, it is marked March 21, 2011. Remember, I told you I was there up until that last that second eviction, which was in 2011. And that would have been June 2011. So this document here comes directly from land records, from the courthouse when you certify something. So this is the document that the judge himself said that not only do I have a certificate of satisfaction, not only do I have a history from land records that show I have been in my home since 1997 to that present moment, but I had a certificate, a certified copy as with raised seals. So you can't see it here, but this is kind of some outline of the copier where I had a raised seal to authenticate my ownership of my home. And it reads thusly: State of Maryland, Prince George's County, to wit, I hereby certify that the foregoing is a true copy of the certificate of satisfaction taken from Liber 20607 folio 082, one of in the land records of the state and county aforesaid, in testimony whereof I too set my hand affixed the seal of the court, of the circuit court for the state and county aforesaid, this 17th day of March 2011. And Marilyn Bland was the clerk of the court at that time, clerk number 289. And as I've read to you before, and I'll read it to you again, I'm going to read the larger copy to help my eyes here. And it states, clerk of the circuit court, November 2004, November 4th, 2004 p.m., 12:37, Prince George's County, Maryland. Recording requested by Fifth Third Bank. When recorded, returned to Jerry Mickens. This is the people at the bank. It says certificate of satisfaction. Okay, here it is again. My certificate of satisfaction that says that my debt has been paid in full. So let's read. Certificate of satisfaction. Fifth Third Bank has all of the different numbers, and then my name, McIver Lender, has all of the accounting numbers. Prince George's County, Maryland, PIF. September 9th, 2004. September 9th, 2004. And then it reads, know all men by these presents that Fifth Third Bank successor in interest to Old Kent Bank, FKA Old Kent Mortgage Company, does hereby acknowledge that the indebtedness secured by a certain deed of trust mortgage made by Sharon Harley McIver to Old Kent Mortgage Company and dated October 29th, 1997 and recorded November 3rd, 1997, among the land records of Prince George's County, City, Maryland, in book Real Liber 11754, page folio 187, as instrument number it has been fully paid and discharged. That Fifth Third Bank successor in interest to Old Kent Bank, FKA Old Kent Mortgage Company, was at the time of the satisfaction the holder of the note and deed of trust / mortgage, and that the lien of the deed of trust mortgage is hereby released. That means that the debt has been paid and they are releasing me from that indebtedness where I own the property. It goes on to say, property address, I'm not going to give that. Witness the hand and seals of the holders of the said deed of trust. Note mortgage below on date as indicated, in witness whereof the holder of said deed of trust, note mortgage, has caused this instrument to be executed in its behalf by its agents, Fifth Third Bank, successor in interest to Old Kent Bank, FKA, Old Kent Mortgage Company, on September 22nd, 2004. September 22nd, 2004. This is now in the hands of Land Records. Has the people that signed it, again, all of this is done. Now, how is it that a DA, after losing another case, because then I would have my criminal trial, which would, and just for your knowledge again, this is the history of how long I was in the property. And so again, after this same guy who lost in court when I was beat up and my rotator cuff was torn and the damage to my hand, he went this and had filed these other charges against me, which is why I would find out afterwards why they came after me and did what they did to me. Well, I was acquitted of all of the charges. To God be the glory, because I wasn't guilty. Because again, I don't care what you say. I have the evidence, the record, and I've won all of the trials that show that I own the property. The only records that will show that I did not win are the ones that they affixed, that they corrupted and showed or tried to make it appear that I didn't win. So a DA walks into the Land Records after I've won my case and says to the Land Record people, take her name off the record. Take her name off that house. And they put HUD's name on it. Then they gave it to this guy who I will not call his name. And he began to sell the house. The house sat for a while because by now I'm afraid in what to do. I believe and know that based upon I was acquitted of all of these charges of trespassing. Let me pull this up for you. Here are some of the charges, 9 of the charges. There were a total of 12. 4 they got rid of. We were left with these. Theft, saying that I stole my home, over $500. Over $500. Attempt theft over whatever that is. Aggregate theft over, again, the same charges over and over again. Attempt theft, obstruction of justice, re-entry after eviction by writ of prosecution, malicious destruction / under some rule, and then trespass on private property. That's the one you really want to pay attention to as well, the trespassing. And there is the other that is fraud, obstructing justice. They say that my records here of where I own the property was obstruction of justice. Well, you've seen it. I've read it to you, and it is real. But it's going to be difficult for you to be able to go into Land Records because all of the cases that show that I won, even the one that I just gave to you, they have removed the records. But, guess what? I had copied, pasted, and printed out before they did it. So I have all of the records. Even when my attorney requested all of the archive records from 1999, they don't know what's happened. Then they say they destroyed it. You're not supposed to destroy these records, but they did it. The attorney that handled this criminal case, she even called the bank to say, can you tell me about this house? They said, well, it was paid off, gave her that date of September 4th, as I mentioned to you earlier. She said, can you tell me how it was paid? They said, well, it's been over 7 years, because remember, this is in 2011 when all of this is happening. And now we're at 2012 at the point in which I'm getting ready to go to court. So the records were in archive, and but they gave her all of the understanding that, yes, this house has been paid off. If you need anything else from us, please let us know. They sent the letter. I will try to have that letter for you the next time we talk, so you can see where the bank sent the letter saying thanks for contacting us. So if you need anything else, please feel free to call us, and we will do what we can. So bottom line for today is that these are the records. I've given it to you. These are all of what I was charged for, and I was acquitted of it all. So please begin the conversation. Share this video if you can. Talk to your Congress people, because again, at this point in time, sadly, this has done a very bad injustice to my children, because they were displaced right at the ages where they really needed a mother, and we were all over the place, and I was not able to be the mother that they needed. And so we have a lot of emotional issues, and I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm looking for justice. Amen. Because I stand for what is right, righteous, and just. And God never told me to leave my home, and I never sold it. And my signature is not anywhere that will prove that I sold it. And from the point that I didn't go back into the home, then the people began to do what they were going to do and sell it from one hand to the. It's a whole shell game that they were doing. And so even to this day, I'm not in my home. But I believe God. It's been prophesied over at least 10 times within the last couple of weeks, that people not knowing my situation. But I know, because God told me that he would vindicate me, that he would restore me, that he would bring restitution to my family, that recompense would take place. So I know that God is going to do what he said he was going to do. But I'm asking you, in addition to what we know God is going to do, God uses people. And I need you to share these videos and begin to let people know, if it happened to her, it can happen to you. And I'm here to tell you, it has happened to other people, which is why this is such a passion for me at this point in time, because I'm one voice amongst many that are fearful to speak. Yes, my life has been on the line. I've had to go out of the area at times to protect myself. So please, I'm unafraid, unashamed to tell my story, because I believe in what is right, righteous, and just. You can help me. God bless you. Till next time.